Hello everyone, this is Joymay's channel. I'm May. Today is July 25th, 2022. We got a set of data. The US visa was approved in the second quarter of 2022. Let's take a look. First, we see that in the second quarter of 2022, a total of 221,000 people were granted permanent US green cards. 96,000 entered the United States as new immigrants. Shows that the impact of the epidemic on new immigrants entering the United States had been eliminated. Look at the source of citizenship application again. 39% of people in the second quarter of 2022 came from India, China, El Salvador, and Dominic. Fourth and fifth places have changed from February 2021, and the fourth place in the same period in 2021 is with Cuba. The perspective of the types of projects applying for U.S. green cards. 1% of green card applicants in 2022 will be composed of immediate family members of U.S. citizens. 1% will be employer-sponsored EB2 and EB3 employers. 17% will be family reunification. Asylum accounted for 4%. See that compared to the same period in 2021, applications from immediately family members accounted for 61% in 2021. 2022, they accounted for a decrease of 10 percentage points compared to 2021. Year-sponsored categories of EB2 and EB3 employer-sponsored applications were approved in 2022 compared with the same period in 2021, increased by 5 percentage points. Household-based preferences are up 12 percentage points in 2022 compared to the same period in 2021. We need to note is that in 2022, the number of EB2 and EB3 approvals increased by 5 percentage points, while immediate family members fell by 10 percentage points but remained the main force of approvals. Then we look at the data of immigration approvals one by one. Among them, more than 45,000 people were approved for EB1 in the second quarter of this year. In the same period in 2021, only more than 23,000 people were approved, which is equivalent to an increase of more than 100% in 2022. The increase in EB1 in 2022 has a lot to do with the fact that EB1 is not scheduled. Then we can see that 9,496 applicants for EB2 has been approved for green cards this year. 6,142 in the same period in 2021, which is equivalent to an increase of 30%. EB3 skilled worker and non-skilled worker applicants have 50,668 were approved in the second quarter of this year, with 8,533 in the same period last year. Basically, there is 163% increase, which is EB3. In the second quarter of this year, 4,505 EB4 were approved compared with 2,339 in the same period last year, and the growth rate of approvals is also double. You should pay attention to EB5 applicants. Only 130 applicants were approved in the second quarter of this year. In the second quarter of the same period last year, 304 applicants were granted green cards. The data approved in 2021 should be the applicants who arrived on the I-526 schedule in previous years. 2022, the number of EB5 approvals will drop sharply. There is also a problem, that is, EB5 Act will expire around November 2019. The law came into effect around May in 2022, and the EB5 law was suspended in the middle, affecting the applicant's application and the trial of the case. Finally, we saw that more than 59,000 people were approved for E2 visas in the United States in the second quarter of this year, compared with more than 36,000 people in the same period last year. 64% increase compared to the same period this year. Visa is still a very worthwhile investment to get to the United States quickly. Increase in data in the second quarter should arouse everyone's attention. We see the number of USCIS received, approved, denied, and pending. 526 received 420 cases and tried 152 cases, of which 50 were approved and 102 were rejected. With a backlog of more than 13,000 pending cases. Then, I-829 received 447 petitions, approved 396 petitions, rejected 51 petitions, and had a backlog of more than 11,000. Compared with the same period last year, the backlog data has not changed significantly, but the trial speed has become slightly faster. Let's look at the overall data of family-based immigration and occupational immigration. Take a look at family-based immigration. There were 23,000 applications from foreign unmarried spouses. More than 6,000 were approved and more than 4,000 were rejected. This is this year, and then there are more than 42,000 people waiting. Then the immigration of foreign relatives, which is equivalent to marriage immigration, and the immediately family sponsored by citizens. The data in this part is staggering. Then 413,000 people applied, of which more than 300,000 were approved. Still 1.62 million applicants waiting for the trial, and then the temporary green card to be full green card. For relative immigration, for example, if you marry a U.S. citizen, you will first obtain a temporary green card and apply for a permanent green card after 2 years of marriage. More than 240,000 people are currently waiting. Then the part of occupational immigration, we have already talked about this data. Then, let's take a look. I-485, that is an application to change permanent green card status in United States. More than 360,000 people are currently waiting in the family-based immigration section, and more than 257,000 people in the occupational immigration section. Okay, the above is the data analysis of the approval second quarter of various U.S. immigration case application in 2022, compared with the same period last year, brought to you by 2.Joymay. Among them, what we see is actually more favorable is the increase in the approved dates of E2 visa applications, increase in the number of applicants, and then the approval data of EB1, EB2, or EB3 have increased significantly compared with the same period last year. This is the major plus. In the end, we have to see that one of more shortcuts in American immigration is to marry a U.S. citizen by family-based immigration. There are currently 1.62 million applicants waiting. And then 413,000 applications have been processed, of which more than 303,000 approved. This data is still very large. In this part of I-485 status conversion, the family immigration category is converted into status in the United States. 151,000 people applied, 137,000 were approved, 20,000 were rejected, and 360,000 were waiting in line. Then professional immigrants changed their status in the United States. This year, 82,900 people applied, more than 64,000 people were approved. 3,800 people were rejected, and there were more than 250,000 people still waiting in the queue. So, the 360,000 family immigrants plus professional immigrants, more than 250,000 people. equivalent to more than 617,000 people are now waiting for the I-485 application in the United States. Because the premise of the I-485 visa application is that you must be in United States. So many people must have legal status in the United States to wait for the I-485 visa to be processed. We also want to talk about how you can use Form B to file an I-485 petition in the United States. I-485 visa application does not require an interview or a very simple interview to get the U.S. green card. This can reduce the rejection rate of applicants at the interview stage. So how can you have legal long-term residency? There are so many ways. First, L1 visa, 1 year, 2 year, continually renewal. Of course, you need to have a very strong employer who can hire you. Second, with the student visa, I can study in the United States for a bachelor's degree, or a master's degree, 4 years, and 2 years. I can continue to study in the United States. And finally, I can wait in the United States to arrive on my priority day. The third one, we apply for an E2 visa in the United States through a Turkish passport or a Grenada passport, and can stay in the United States for up to 5 years at one time. And their children under the age of 18 can also be brought in together to enjoy free education in public schools under the age of 18 in elementary and high school in the United States. That is very good. What we need to pay attention to is that if you choose to study in the United States, apply for an H-1B visa after graduation, and pass the H-1B lottery, you can also stay in the United States for up to 7 years. Of course, the H-1B lottery is probabilistic and not everyone can get it. If you fail the lottery, you can still choose to continue your studies, or convert to L1 or apply for an E2 visa, all of which can legally stay in the United States. Of course, if you extend your stay in the United States, then you are likely to lose the eligibility to legally convert to an U.S. green card through I-485 in the United States, so we should pay attention. The above is the analysis of the approved data of U.S. immigration in the second quarter of 2022, brought to you by 2.Joymay. Appreciate you contact us. Our customer service WeChat is 1-818-612-9682. Become a professional overseas integration and investment service provider. We also hope that we can serve more customers. Thank you for choosing 2.Joymay. I wish you a smooth work today and all the best. Thank you for watching.